Why do I always worry? That's the question that keeps echoing in your mind at 2 a.m., right? You're not up trying to figure out how to get more peace or more joy. You're up trying to manage the chaos. And guess what? According to the World Health Organization, Americans worry more than any other people group in the world. Let that sink in. The most affluent nation is the most anxious one. Barna research says 60% of adults in the U.S. struggle with worry and stress on a daily basis. And why? Well, by default, we drift toward fear and not faith. We default to control and not surrender. Worry isn't just something that we do, it's becoming something we accept. Even as Christians, we do the same thing. And that's exactly why Jesus spoke directly to it. Welcome to the Journey to Freedom, where we help people just like you overcome anxiety and depression by renewing your mind spiritually, emotionally, neurologically. And if this is your first time here, I'd love for you to hit like and subscribe so you don't miss a single episode on your road to healing. Today, we're diving into one of the most crippling emotions of modern life, and it's worry. I want to start with this. What you worry about most reveals where you trust God the least. Let's talk about real life. Do you ever worry about your kids making the wrong friends, or your health turning for the worse, your job, the economy, an election, the war, the weather, even the price of eggs? Well, we've all been there. The difference between worry and anxiety is so close because they overlap. So here's a simple way to separate them. Worry lives in your mind and anxiety lives in your body. For me, worry is usually specific, like I might miss my flight, whereas anxiety is broad and vague. I feel uneasy just thinking about travel. So let me ask you again, what do you worry about the most? Comment below. I'd really love to hear from you and respond to some of those messages. But let's look at what Jesus taught in Matthew chapter 6. He doesn't just say, don't worry. He shows us how not to worry. Let's break it down. Matthew 6:25. Therefore, I tell you, do not worry about your life. But first, he uses the word therefore, and when there's a therefore, we say, what's it there for? Right before it, in verse number 24, it says you can't serve both God and money. In other words, what you serve will shape what you stress about. Then Jesus lists 5 categories that people worry about the most: finances, food, fitness, fashion, and future. Sound familiar? And then in verse 26, he drops this truth bomb. He says, look at the birds. They don't sow, they don't reap, but God feeds them. Birds don't worry. They don't pace the nest at night, asking, will there be a worm shortage tomorrow morning? They get up, they fly, they do what they were created to do. So why don't we? Here's the difference between concern and worry. Concern will move you to action. Like, I gained 12 pounds and now I eat healthier. My marriage feels off, so I seek counseling. Whereas worry will paralyze you. What if I get sick and never recover? What if I fail and lose everything? Concern should lead you to preparation, while worry will lead you to stagnation. Back to Matthew in verse number 27, Jesus says, can all your worries add a single moment to your life? The answer is no. Worry will steal your peace and give you nothing in return. Let me make it personal again. Where do you trust God the least? Finances, your family, your future? And be honest. Because here's the good news. Jesus gives us the antidote in verse 33 of Matthew chapter 16 when he says, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will then be added to you. So what do you do when worry creeps in? Well, try this. First of all, identify the lie. You can say, I have to control this. If I don't worry, I'm being irresponsible. Then, after you identify the lie, you've got to replace it with the truth. The truth is that God is in control, and he cares for you more than he cares for the birds. The third thing would be to seek God first in your schedule, your finances, your thoughts, your relationship. And here's the most important thing. Your mental health isn't just about managing symptoms. It's about changing your master with a capital M. You can't serve God and worry. You have to choose one. So here's your challenge for this week. Pray this out loud every morning. I challenge you. Say this: God, I trust you with what I can't control. I choose peace over panic and faith over fear. I hope this video helps you. Send it to someone who you think is tired of living in mental overdrive. You see, we're walking this journey together, one step at a time, because freedom isn't just possible, it's promised. And your freedom, it starts today.